Hey guys, it's me Tess and I am back with another video for you guys today. I have my August TBR for you guys because it's beginning of September. Where did August even go? Like, was she even here? Well, apparently, because I had some really good books. Because guys, this was a really good reading month. Oh, I'm spoiling some of them, but this was a really good reading month for me. Like, I have whoa, can we speak? I had amazing reads this month. I think I only had one 3.5 stars. The rest were like above a 4. So this was a really good reading month. I read a total of 8 books this month, which was great for me. I know some people will be reading like 100 books a month, but not over here. We're just new to reading, so we are reading 8. But I'm going back to school actually tomorrow, so I'm trying to fit in everything. I literally just came out of a Zoom call, so if my energy is a little bit low, that's because I was literally on a 3-hour Zoom that I had to speak the whole entire time. So I'm trying to bring the energy, but if it's not there, that's why. But yeah, I don't want to make this intro extremely long because we have a lot of books to get through. I want to talk about these. I'm excited to talk about these. I need to start writing these down because sometimes I be forgetting, but we're gonna try our best. I also got my nails done. I am obsessed, and my hair done, so I'm feeling really good. Like, I'm feeling really good about myself. So if you didn't know this already, you're beautiful, you're amazing, and you're worthy of every good thing that comes your way. So I just wanted to say that because I feel like a lot of people don't hear that enough, and I know it's really important to hear that. So I also wanted to show off my new flower bouquet that Fresh Scents kindly sent over to me. This video is not sponsored by them, but they did send it to me in PR, and I am a Fresh Scent ambassador, so if you want to check out my affiliate link down below, you guys definitely can. No pressure, of course, and follow me on my Instagram, Margaret_Tess. And without me further talking about absolutely nothing, let's get around into this video. So, my mouth is literally so dry because I've been talking so much today, but we're just gonna get right into it. And I'm gonna start off with a book that I was surprised that I absolutely loved and devoured, and that was the Song of Achilles. Oh my gosh, because I'm not a Greek mythology fan. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know anything about Greek mythology. I only know a couple of the gods like Zeus, so on and so forth. So when I first picked up this book, I was like, I didn't have high hopes that like I knew it was a good book, but like I wasn't expecting to love it. Like, I thought I would probably like it just because it's a retelling of the relationship between Patroclus and Achilles, so I knew I would like that aspect of the romance, but I didn't expect to like every aspect of the book. But I absolutely loved it. I even annotated, guys. Like, I even annotated. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I don't know how some people don't like it. It is a bit of I don't know if you consider this length because it's only 367 pages, so it's quite a good decent amount of pages in this book. But I can say that the beginning is a little bit of a slower start, and like you kind of have to like, you know, but it's kind of a slower start, but it's actually really interesting. And what I really loved about Madeline Miller is not only did she put like the characters and like the people that she was talking about in the back so you can reference it, but she wrote it in a way where it wasn't like confusing. It was very straightforward and very easy to read and like, you know, understand, in my opinion. So that's what I really loved about it. I did find myself sometimes having to go back to remember like who they're talking about because this book has a lot of characters, but and a lot of them have a lot of similar names, so it's kind of hard sometimes to like understand who's talking and when. But basically, if you don't know what this is about, it's basically a retelling of the love story between Patroclus and Achilles. If you guys know anything about Greek mythology, you kind of already know how this ends because the ending is the same as the ending in Greek mythology. I don't know how much I could say without like spoiling it, so I don't know what I'm really supposed to say, but you basically go through their whole entire life when they're meeting when they were children all the way to when they're adults and they're like full, like, you know, like in their 20s. And you also get to see like the war that kind of like was very detrimental and how the war kind of like formed everyone. And I just want to say that I'm in love with Patroclus. He's literally the sweetest character I've ever read in my life. Like, I want Patroclus to be my best friend. He's so sweet and so selfless. Like, I love him so much, and I was rooting for him the whole way, and the ending literally shattered me. Achilles, I liked him in the beginning, and then at the end I was kind of like, you're doing too much. But then at the very end, he redeemed himself. I cried multiple times. Ending shattered me. Last 50 pages destroyed me. So 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5 stars. Go pick this up right now. I also got this at half price books, so I only got this for I think like $7, so, and it's in perfect condition too. So next, okay, so this month was a Colleen Hoover month. That's all I can say. Like, Colleen Hoover dominated this month. She dominated it. And I usually like to read one Colleen Hoover book a month just because I want to make sure that I at least have one book to read from her every single month. But I broke that rule this month by reading 3 of her books. So the first I'm going to start off with is if you're on Book Talk or BookTube, you probably know what this book is about, Verity. So Colleen Hoover, she's known for writing her romance novels and then putting a big twist in there, so that's what she's kind of known for, but this was her very first thriller that she ever wrote. All I can say is Verity, I don't even know if I can say that because of the ending. The ending just like, it's so like, what really got me is the ending is so up to your own interpretation on what you believe, which is something that's so crazy to me, because it's like usually at the end it gives a definitive ending, like no matter what you think, how you think of it, that's the definitive ending. But this one, it's kind of up to your own interpretation, how you think and what you believe, you know what I mean? But basically this book is about Verity, this girl Lowen Ashley. She is a struggling writer, and she gets this like call from Verity Crawford's like agency or whatever, and Verity Crawford is like a well-known writer. She's actually really popular, but she was recently in an accident, so she is unable to finish the series in the book that she's writing, so she calls out for Lowen, and she basically wants her to finish out the remainder of her series. So Lowen Ashley, she has to go to Verity's house with her husband Jeremy, and she basically has to go through all her records and like try to figure out who Verity was and kind of get a grip for like how she writes, because they're gonna be like, she's the co-author to the book, so like she kind of has to know how Verity Crawford writes. And so she goes into the office and just basically like goes through all her records and her files and everything, trying to grab some things about her. But little does she know, Verity Crawford, she's crazy. What she wrote in here, the things I read, gave me chills. Like when a book physically gives you chills when you're reading, that's how you know it's a good book. I will say, read the trigger warnings in this book, and also be prepared to read some things that you wouldn't think someone would write about, you know what I mean? So it's a very shocking, chilling, gruesome book. I wouldn't read this at night. No, do not read this book at night. You know, read it in the morning. You know, pause after the sun goes down, put this book away, resume in the morning. When I read this in like the perfect time, because I stopped right before it got to like the super creepy parts, before we got to read some of Verity's memoirs. That's when I decided to stop, and then I resumed in the morning, so I finished it in the afternoon and stuff, so I had time to settle. But this book was crazy. Had my jaw on the ground the whole time. 5 out of 5 stars. Colleen Hoover killed it with this one. Okay, so All Your Perverts by Colleen Hoover. So this one I didn't love as much as her other books. Basically, this book, you get to see, what are the characters' names? Quinn and, what's his name? See this book? I don't even remember her name. His name. What was his name? What was his name? It doesn't even say in the back of this book. Anyways, so basically you're following 2 people who are married in a relationship, and you keep going back and forth between present and past, and you get to kind of see how their marriage fell apart, and you're kind of like living through it, like how they're trying to, you know, bring themselves back together and be happily married together like they were before, because they face a really, really sad and like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like they go through something super sad, and like they're kind of trying to get back to loving themselves and each other, but it's really hard because what they went through was so sad. So, or what they're currently going through, you could say. So so this book was sweet. I had many times where I was like, that's so sweet, that's so kind. It didn't have a plot twist in there, which I prefer my books to have a plot twist. I prefer my books to like have a little bit of oomph in them. So this was like a sweet story. Like it was cute, you know, not lighthearted because what they went through was like sad. Characters, I didn't really fall in love with either of them as like much as I usually do. Like there's usually one character in a book that I always root for. This one I was kind of like, okay, like you guys are cute, like okay. And it's a pretty short read. I wish they were not on the cover. Like I wish the cover was just like that. Like that's so cute. Like I hate it when authors put faces on covers. Like why did you do that? I gave this a 3.5 stars. November 9th by Colleen Hoover. This was actually one of my most anticipated reads for this month, and I gave it a 4 stars. So basically November 9th is a story between Fallon and Ben. And so basically Fallon and Ben meet each other kind of like the way that most Colleen Hoover books, like they meet each other like randomly, but this wasn't as random when you find out at the end what happened. But like they meet each other randomly in the beginning, and basically they decide that they're gonna meet each other every November 9th once a year. They're not gonna follow each other on social media, they're not gonna have each other's phone number, they're not gonna talk at all. They're just gonna meet at a certain restaurant every single November 9th for as long as they want to continue doing this. And basically you kind of see them falling in love with each other and like their love story developing, and then you kind of like just like fall so hard for them, and then boom, a plot twist. And unlike other Colleen Hoover books, there's multiple plot twists in this one. There's like multiple plot twists in this one that you're not gonna expect. It's crazy. And you kind of just like see like how November 9th is so significant for each of them, and you kind of see like what happened because Fallon actually on November 9th, this is on back, so it's not like a spoiler, but on November 9th she was actually in a house fire at her father's house when she was visiting him, and she used to be an actor, but then she was in the house fire, and then she has a lot of scars and burns on her body, so her acting career kind of fell off after that. So that's why it's significant for her. November 9th is significant for her. And Ben is related to that as well, but I can't say why he's related to it. But it's just like a good book, like go read it. And also if you've read Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, some of the characters from Ugly Love are featured in this one, so read Ugly Love first and then read this one. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, oh my gosh, literally I hate to say it, I really do, but I don't even hate to say it, this was my favorite read of this month. I still think about this book to this day, and I read this like at the beginning of August. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about Evelyn Hugo. Like, you guys probably know who she is. If I could give this book a billion stars out of whatever, I would. Literally on my all-time favorite books ever. Such a good book. So this is by Taylor Dickens Reid, and basically this book is about the the iconic Hollywood actress Evelyn Hugo, and you basically get to like read her life through an interview because Evelyn Hugo is being interviewed by Monique Grant, who's also another struggling writer, but you just think that it's just like a random writer because Hugo is like, I only want Monique. If Monique is not the one to do it, I don't want anyone else. And Monique isn't well known. Like, she's a struggling writer, and no one really knows about her. So her agency, Evelyn Hugo's agency, is like, why do you want Monique? You could have like any writer, any publisher you want. Why her? And she's like, I want her, no one else. And then you kind of figure out why at the end, why she wanted Monique. But her story, so captivating, but yet so heartbreaking. And the things that Evelyn Hugo has gone through, like, you would think this girl was grateful. I can compare Evelyn Hugo so much to like Ann Taylor. I feel like her and Evelyn Hugo kind of give me the same vibe, but Evelyn Hugo's stories are so sad. You know, there's so many topics that are discussed in here, obviously with the trigger warnings, but you just go through her life beginning as a teenager trying to make it big, and then you see her throughout her whole career and obviously her 7 husbands. And you would think that this book was just solely about her 7 husbands. I forgot, I didn't even say that. I was too engraved in telling you guys why I'm so excited. But you would think that this book was just about her 7 husbands, but it's actually really not. Like, yeah, her 7 husbands are in here, but it's mostly about her and how she met these people and why she met them and why she had 7 husbands. And it's crazy. I want to do a whole video just talking about this book because there's so much I want to say, so much I want to debunk. Chef's kiss. Waiting for the day where I can reread this because it's honestly such an amazing book. like, if you get any book from this video, it's this one, please. Book from Taylor Jenkins Reid was also Malibu Rising. So I was actually really excited for this book. It kind of flopped a little bit for me. I gave it like a 3.5 stars because, I don't know, this was more character development focused rather than plot focused, because yes, there's a plot in this, because if you don't know what Malibu Rising is about, it's basically about the siblings of the children of Mick Riva, who was also featured in the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, because Mick Riva was one of Evelyn Hugo's husbands. But I thought that was fun. And you basically just see them preparing for this annual like party that they have at their house every single year, and you kind of just see the events that lead up to the house fire, because it's in here that the house is catch on fire. But you kind of go throughout the day and see the things that are revealed to get to the house fire and how it ends up being that way. And you gotta, you know, a lot of family secrets are revealed, a lot of revelations are revealed. There's a lot of character development, and a lot of characters in this do develop throughout the book, which I really like. So it's very character driven, and you really just get to like learn a lot more about characters rather than like the plot of it. So that's why I wasn't too much of a fan of it, because I prefer more of a plot line rather than like character development, because character development is really important. But for me personally, I would rather like be engulfed in a plot rather than like a character, if that makes sense. So that's just like my personal preference. I know a lot of people actually really like the style of this. So yeah, I would definitely pick it up now though, because summer's about to end, and I feel like this is such a summer vibe type of book. Yeah, so yeah, and there were a lot of sad times, a lot of happy times. So overall, I would give this a 3.5 stars. Ace of Spades. Never have I had a book literally make me so angry, but like I loved it. Like what happened in this book made me so angry. Like I was so angry. I had to put the book down because I'm like, there's no way this just happened. So it didn't make me cry, but it sure did make me angry. Anyway, so Ace of Spades, I saw this book recommended by a lot of booktubers, and this is a YA fiction, and basically this book is about two African Americans who attend a predominantly white, well actually not predominantly, all white private school, and both of them are very smart. One of them is at the top of everything. She's like the head prefect. She is in good with all the teachers, and the other one is like really smart but more quiet. Not a lot of people know him. He's just, you know, keep his head down, do what he needs to do, get out of there type B. So they're basically, this book reminds me a lot of Gossip Girl, because there's this person called Aces who basically just sends out random text messages exposing the students at the school, and you quickly learn to find out that it's not exposing the students, it's exposing two students, and you basically are on the hunt trying to figure out who this person is, why they're doing it, and the reason why they're doing it. I'm so mad. Like I have to talk about, like I don't want to spoil it, but oh my gosh. So this isn't like a secret society, it's more of just like elite high school type beat. So it's really related to Gossip Girl meets Get Out. Is that spoiling it? But I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. The cover is absolutely stunning. I am obsessed. Literally obsessed. Go get this right now. Also read the trigger warnings in this book as well. Read the trigger warnings for any book you get. Okay, so the last book I read was The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. So this is my very first classic book of the, I wouldn't say of the year, but of the summer, because I haven't read a classic novel. Yeah, so Toni Morrison is a phenomenal writer. She was chef's kiss. This book was written in like 1960, 1975, so you can kind of understand the writing style because of the era that it was written in. But basically this book is about a girl, an African-American girl, who strives to have the bluest eyes. She wants to have the most beautiful bluest eyes of anyone that she can ever see. She just wants to feel as what society says is the beauty standard. And there's a lot of things that happen in this book that are really devastating, that left me kind of at shock but then I had to put myself back in that time period, and I'm kind of like, okay, not justifying it, but I'm like, I can see why it's written the way it is. But you follow a lot of different characters, but you mostly just follow this one girl, Piccola Breadlove, and her story and everything she went through with her family, and how she just never felt like she was beautiful. And it's just, it was so beautifully written, and I would definitely pick this book up. Again, read the trigger warnings, but I just want to say that this book, I feel like every person should read, just because even in today's society, like, no matter how far we've come and we've progressed a lot in the society that we're in, but we still have those underlying like prejudices and beauty standards, and what people are saying is like beautiful, like blonde hair, blue eyes, skinny, you know, fair skin. Like, it's just something that has been engraved in American culture, American society for many years, and this book really touches on it and the severity of it, and it's so sad. So this book was beautifully written. I would definitely pick this up again and read it again. If you're looking for a book to read for school or anything, definitely recommend any of Toni Morrison's book. I haven't read all of them. This is like my first book from her, but I definitely will be picking up a lot more from her because I just love her writing. It speaks volumes to the topics that are discussed. So 5 out of 5 stars. Yes, those were all the books that I read for the month of August. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys are excited to read for the upcoming September and what your favorite book was for August, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.